Thermogenics are a category of substances found both naturally and artificially that are used to promote weight loss. Thermogenics, such as dinitrophenol, otherwise known as DNP, interrupt the production of the ATP in the body, known as cellular respiration, specifically the electron transport chain, to raise the body's metabolic rate and lower the production of ATP. Substances such as DNP have become controversial in their use, as they have proved somewhat successful but also harmful.
We're going to start with cellular respiration. So the basic equation is C6H12O6 plus 6O2 gives off 6CO2 plus 6H2O. And there are three parts to cellular respiration. Okay, so now to the third step of cellular respiration. The third step is called the ETC, which stands for electron transport chain, and it happens in the inner membrane of the mitochondria. You get the NADH and the FADH from the Krebs cycle, and the H's break off from both, and those go through the transport proteins and go up here to make a concentration gradient. The electrons go through like this path to create H2O. And the remaining H's up here, they go through the ATP synthase, and this process creates 32 ATPs. Photosynthesis is the process used by plants and algae to create energy. So it takes sunlight and makes it into like a chalcolate ATP kind of stuff. So the equation is 6CO2 plus 6H2O produces C6H12O6 plus 6O2. This is actually pretty much the opposite of cellular respiration in the equation, so that's really good to know. And there are two parts to photosynthesis, which is the light reaction and the Calvin cycle.
Thermogenic compounds work to stop the production of ATP by acting as oxidative phosphorylation uncouplers. This means that thermogenic compounds act on oxidative phosphorylation, otherwise known as the electron transport chain. Now, thermogenic compounds such as DNP, dinitrophenol, work on the electron transport chain not by interfering with the actual electron transport chain or with the overall process, especially ATP synthase. Instead, they uncouple the two reactions that drive the production of ATP. ATP is produced in the reaction ADP plus P equals ATP using the potential energy created by the concentration gradient. When excess numbers of H plus are brought to the other side of the phospholipid bilayer, in this case, as happens when the following reduction reactions occur within the mitochondria, an excess of potential energy accrues outside of the membrane and provides the energy for ATP synthase to actually turn and produce ATP. However, when thermogenic compounds act, they act as protonophores, and they act as transport proteins embedded inside the phospholipid bilayer. In this respect, they bring H pluses across the bilayer in the same way the transport proteins do in the facilitation of the electron transport chain. When the H pluses are brought across the membrane through the thermogenic compounds, they release the potential energy normally used in ATP synthase to create ATP as heat, and there is no energy to produce ATP here. In this case, the body must continue to consume more of its own stores in an attempt to produce more ATP, but all the while releasing lots of energy as heat. This leads to hyperthermia, or overheating, and can cause serious complications for the body.
As mentioned earlier, thermogenics help weight loss. Thermogenics come in many forms, such as caffeine or DNP, which is what we are looking at right now. A lot of muscle builders use thermogenics to reduce and control fat so that their muscle definition improves. DNP is a type of thermogenic that causes weight loss because it inhibits the oxidative phosphorylation process. The DNP interrupts the electron transport chain and causes the energy to be produced as heat. Therefore, there is not enough ATP produced in one round of respiration that the body needs to increase its metabolic rate and consume more products than normally. The body then results in consuming one's own nutrients, such as carbohydrates, fats, or sugars, in an attempt to produce more ATP. The body must continue this cycle, and eventually the person will lose weight.
Since using DNP and other thermogenics promotes weight loss, we should use tons of DNP, right? Wrong. Thermogenics cause hyperthermia. The body rapidly absorbs heat, which causes its temperature to elevate. Also, by using a thermogenic, your metabolic rate rapidly increases and you don't have enough carbon sugars to feed the thermogenic, and it will start to cannibalize proteins and muscle cells. This is dangerous because it disrupts the body's homeostasis, which can result in cell damage. Side effects include swelling, joint stiffness, and pain, headaches, vomiting. Specifically for dinitrophenol, for 2 to 4 weeks, it will help you lose a lot of weight. Past that, it'll stop being effective. If you take it for more than 8 weeks, you'll get addicted.